Good evening and welcome to the Poets Cafe. It is where artists comes alive. The spoken word brings forth the inner creations of hidden treasure, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, a vibration that brings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds through various forms of expressions, including writers, singers, spoken words artists, and those engaging in artistic expression through painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities to the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love of the skies, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina, gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to embark on a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now let's get started.
Let's get started. If this is Thursday, it must be Poetically Speaking with yours truly, Terry Benjamin and Ronald C. McCrae. This is the program where we take a moment to acknowledge the people who are helping us along our way. This evening, our engineer is Trish, and I just have some shout-outs, some people who have been giving us some well-wishing, our well-wishers before we come on the air here. And I just want to say what's going on, Sharon Jones-Casey. What's going on, Chanel Gilmore? What's going on, Sylvia Carter? What's going on, Mary McDonald Swindell? What's going on, Jess Petion? What's going on, Jacqueline Jenkins? What's going on, Robert Cabbage Stalk? What's going on, James Holloway? What's going on, Tara Branch? What's going on, Wayne Spikes? What's going on, Kenneth Washington? What's going on, Evangeline Mobley? What's going on, Deborah Dowser? What's going on, Monty Bibliophile? What's going on, Laretha Foster Bram? What's going on, Edwina Simmons? What's going on, Juanita McClure? What's going on, Dina Robinson? And what's going on, Erica Brown? Again, we are here because you are out there, and we want to give you the best that we have. So we're going to have some fun tonight. Today's agenda is the art of conversation in relationships. And our quote of the day is from our featured artist in Music is Lit, and is none other than Bill Withers. It is Bill Withers who said, "Value the people who value you." Just a simple statement, but again, it really resonates with us here because we value you. So again, we value the people that value us. And again, that was from Mr. Bill Withers. But let's get right into the program. We got a lot of things to do, and I want to make sure we give you everything we have this evening. So we begin with Ron's poetry. What you have for us today, Ron?
You know, a couple of things, but I want to read something from here in my Bible. But this relates to everybody. It doesn't matter what book you have, whether it's the Torah, Quran, or any other book, or even a magazine, no matter what novel or fiction book you pick up, love story. Mm-hmm. This starts, and it's across the board. Let me read this. Okay. And this is coming out of Ecclesiastics first, and I want to read right quick, first through let's just say the 9th verse. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to point out what's really stands out. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king of Jerusalem, vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, vanity of vanity, all is vanity. And I want you to think about that. Write it up, look the word up, look at the definition, and see what this means. All is vanity. Mm-hmm. What profiteth a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? Mm-hmm. Another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. The sun also arises, and the sun goeth down, and hasn't to his place where he arose. The wind goeth towards the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continuously, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from which the river cometh, thither they return again. All things are full of labor, man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The things that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us. I say that to tie into, as we continue to move forward, and as we always discuss, in reference to relationships, everyday situation. And as you know, our platform is all about poetically speaking, poetry, music is lit and whatnot. But I also put a title to that, and I want to say it with this. What has changed then and now? You see, everybody get caught up in today's mess and this and that, but what has changed? I just read to you what the preacher said in the Bible, the Old Testament. Vanity is vanity. All is vanity. There's nothing new under the sun. So I ask you, and I leave you with this question, and we continue to move forward in the dialogue. What has changed then and now? That means you have to go back as far as you can, even if you was a child. What happened in the 90s, in the 2000s, the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, whatever case may be. What has changed then and now? Food for thought. Think about it. Write your comments. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you.
That's beautiful. Again, like the brother said, there's nothing new under the sun. And that's why what we're going through, again, has been part of our history. So we go back to the Jim Crow era. We go back to the Civil Rights era. We go back to all the things that we've come through. And we're going to come through this. But again, I think what's going to help us the most is relationships. And so, again, today's agenda, art of conversation in relationships.
Let me just read this also in short. This also comes from Ecclesiastic 3, third chapter. And this is important, very important. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose in the heavens. Under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up. That which is planted, a time to kill, and I don't mean kill somebody, okay? So keep that in mind. That's not what this means. A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. That ties into, as we continue to move forward in our conversation you're going to hear in reference to part of our agenda. A time to build and a time to heal, a time to cry and a time to laugh. All those things is important today. Keep this in mind, no matter how you look at it. The only reason why it appears to be distorted is based on your thinking. How you think, the things you see, rather than see the beauty of what life holds in front of you. Because tomorrow's not promised, and yesterday is gone. But to understand something today is to look back from which you came, or your ancestors, and that's what's important.
Yeah, also you have to ask yourself, what season are you in? Okay, how would you describe this season in your life? Because it's constantly changing. Nothing stays the same. Everything must change. As my brother said, there's a time and a season for everything. And so as we move through the program, we really want you to keep that in mind. Because again, and I can't emphasize this enough, the art of conversation in relationships, and not just male and female relationships, it could be a relationship between parents and children, between your co-workers at your job. It's all about relationships, and we're going to go into a little deeper until we get into our program.
Here's something else too. Ecclesiastes 7. This is important. I want every single person at the sound of my voice, our voice, and you can spread the word, and you can tell based on how somebody act, and their characteristics, and their personality, no matter how you look at it. So here it says, Ecclesiastes 7, first verse. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. A good name. You see, a good name comes when somebody who's courteous, who's kind, who knows how to smile, who's respectful. It doesn't mean, and humble. It doesn't mean you have to bow down. It's not saying that. It's really exposing your personality, your characteristic of who you are, who you want to be, and how you want the world to see you. Because if somebody dislikes you for whatever reason, that's their choice. If somebody see you, but guess what? At the end of the day, and what I mean by the end of the day, it might be 10, 20, 30 years. And even now, somebody might come up to you today and say, you know what? I remember the things you said to me, the smile you had. I remember the way you carry yourself, the things you've done. Because I'm going to say for me personally, and I said it several times before, there's not a person on the face of the earth, no matter where I've been, could ever say that Ron McCray has said something nasty, treated you bad or whatever. Because I try to be who I am, what God has created me to be. So again, a good name, a good name is precious. And you can also find that also in Proverbs 3, the whole chapter. Read the whole chapter.
That's right.
That's what's important, a good name.
Good name. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't share this with our audience. I mean, I had an opportunity to meet a very great gentleman many, many years ago, decades at this particular point. His name is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, the two most important days of your life is the day that you were born and the day that you found out what you were born for. What is your purpose? We know we were born with a purpose, and unfortunately, many of us don't really find our purpose. But when you find your purpose in life, you'll know why you were born and what you were born for. And I know for myself, I was able to find my purpose very early in life, and I just followed that particular path. And so I'm saying to you, remember, the two most important days of your life, the day you were born and the day you found out what you were born for.
And to find out what you were born for is the thing that you actually found joy in, which means you can, it's like tossing marbles. You throw the marbles out there and you see all these colored balls rolling off, but it was just something about that one marble that stood out. And you found joy in that one marble, and that became your idol. It's just like a child who has a security blanket or something, a toy. Right. They cling to that, it seems like all their life. And unfortunately, some in their 50s, 60s, 70 years still clinging to that one thing. But if you take that one thing away, they're traumatized forever, it seems like. Right. But the point is finding joy, your purpose in that one thing that you really give a lot or a large percentage of your energy to. And that's what's important. What is it that you enjoy doing, creating, saying, speaking, no matter how you look at it? Find joy.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why we encourage you to develop the habit of literacy. And again, for us, it's reading, writing, talking, listening, and viewing. And that's why this segment, Mind, Body, and Books, is so important. And I encourage you, in terms of the reading, read at least 2 books a week. And I encourage you to read a fiction book and a nonfiction book. And just to help you in that particular area, I have 2 books here. The first book that I want to share with you is called Burning Season. And this is by Kiki Swinson. And she's a national best-selling author of almost 30 books. And she's been around for a long time. And just to read from the back of the book here, nationally best-selling author Kiki Swinson's novel set it off with killer plot twists, merciless characters, and an unsparing portrayal of Southern struggling, lying, betraying, and dying. Now everything is on the line as a female firefighter, desperate for money, gets caught up in a man-made disaster. And the firefighter is Elena Curry, and this is the book Burning Season. And again, there's a sequel to this book, which is entitled Where There's Smoke. And Kiki Swinson is known for very compelling stories and very exciting stories. And her style is very, very poetic, and it moves the story along. And you really enjoy this fiction book. My nonfiction book is from one of my heroes, a gentleman that I followed for a long time. And really, I mean, he wasn't perfect, and he's not perfect now. As a matter of fact, at 84, he's experiencing some health challenges. And the person that I'm talking about is featured in this particular book. And it's entitled A Dream Deferred, Jesse Jackson and the Fight for Black Political Power. And the author is Abby Phillip. And as you know, Abby Phillip anchors the Newsnight with Abby Phillip on CNN, where her work has been nominated for several journalism awards, including multiple Emmys. She also worked at the Washington Post, ABC News, and Politico. She has covered multiple presidents' campaigns, finance, lobbying, and several presidential campaigns. Phillip was named to the 2021 Time 100 Next list and was a recipient of the National Urban League's Women of Power Award. She was raised in Maryland and is a graduate of Harvard University. She lives in New York City, and her husband, daughter, and pup, Booker T. And so again, this is a very powerful book, has been very well reviewed and very well received. And again, you figure with her her duties as a CNN anchor, every night she's on from Monday to Wednesdays, but still found time to really write this book, which is historical, but also features interviews from Jesse Jackson himself. And so again, I really encourage you, if you're going to read 2 books this week, maybe these can be your 2. And as we move along in the program, I just want to take some time out to do our segment entitled Music is Lit. Now, this is very special to me because one of the best documentaries that I ever saw was a documentary called Still Bill, which was about the life of Bill Withers. And it was just so inspiring to me because here was a man who really, when he was working, Ron, he made toilets for airplanes. So he was a working man, and he started his recording career was very short lived when he was a much mature man. But in his first album, he had 3 or 4 hits, and I want to read some of the songs from that first album, and this was in 1972. And the song poem that I like to recite is entitled "Who Is He and What Is He to You?" And I tell you, man, in this song, man, it was a dance, a floor smash because that bass line was just amazing. But the story he told was also very familiar and about relationships. And it begins, "A man we passed just tried to stare me down. And when I looked at you, you looked at the ground. I don't know who he is, but I think that you do. Dadgummit, who is he and what is he to you? Something in my heart and in your eye tells me he's not just someone just passing by. And when you cleared your throat, was that your cue? Dadgummit, who is he and what is he to you?" Now, when I add the sum of you and me, I get confused and keep coming up with 3. You're too much for one man, but not enough for 2. Dadgummit, who is he and what is he to you? Girl, you tell me men don't have much intuition. Now, love, is that what you really think, little girl, or are you wishing? Before you wreck your own home, be certain of the new. Dadgummit, who is he and what is he to you? Dadgummit, who is he and what is he to you? Dadgummit, who is he and what is he to you? Dadgummit, who is he and what is he to you? Now, it's a situation with Bill Withers, again, very simple lyrics, but very profound stories. This one was, rumor has it, was written for his wife at that time, Denise Nichols, the actress. And it was a very rocky relationship, didn't last very long, but they say that this song came out of that relationship. And the song, again, is from 1972 from the album Still Bill. And the name of the song is Use Me. And it goes, my friends feel it's their appointed duty to keep trying to tell me all you want to do is use me. But my answer to all that use me stuff, I want to spread the news. If it feels that good being used, then you keep on using me until you use me up. Until you use me up. Until you use me up. My brother sent me right down and he talked to me. He told me that I ought not to let you just walk on me. And I'm sure he meant well. Yeah, but when our talk was through, I said, brother, if you only knew, you wish that you were in my shoes, you just keep on using me until you use me up. Until you use me up. Now sometimes it's true, you really do abuse me. You get me in a crowd of high-class people, and then you act real rude to me. But, oh, baby, 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 when you love me, I just can't get enough. I want to spread the news that if it feels this good getting used, girl, you just keep on using me until you use me up. Until you use me up. Talking about you using me, people, it all depends on what you do. It ain't so bad the way that you're using me, because I sure am using you to do the things you do. To do the things you do. And that's Use Me from Bill Withers. And the last song that I like to read as a poem is also very well known, and again from that first album, Still Bill. And this has been an anthem for other people, and other people have recorded it as well. And again, every time I hear it, I really enjoy it. As a matter of fact, when they made the movie Lean On Me, when Morgan Freeman played Joe Clark, the educator and the principal of the school, and they had Lean On Me, a rap summary that was actually performed by Big Daddy Kane as the end of the movie. And again, Lean On Me, and this is Bill Withers. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm going to need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let it show. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm going to need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load that you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me. If you need a friend, call me. Call me. If you need a friend, call me. Call me. Call me. If you need a friend, call me. Call me. Lean on me. And the last thing I like to do, this is a quote from the film, the documentary, that I really advise you to watch. We say, developing the habit of literacy, reading, writing, talking, listening, and viewing. And this would be a good film for you to view, a good documentary. You can. This is a good family film because it talks about his life, goes into life. As a matter of fact, talks about the fact that for a long time in his youth, he stuttered. He stuttered so bad that the kids made fun of him, and that made him very quiet and very introspective. But in the film, he says something that I feel really profound. You know, in our life, we all try to get to what's wonderful, that place where we can really feel at home, really feel that we accomplished. But this is what Bill Withers says in the film. Bill Withers, he says here, my life was working when I was a working guy. You know, it's okay to head out for wonderful, but on the way to wonderful, you're going to have to pass through all right. And when you get to all right, take a good look around and get used to it, because that may be as far as you're going to go. Okay? So we all want wonderful, but sometimes all right can be good too if you're comfortable in that. But again, I look at the example of Bill Withers. I look at the example of his life. I look at the example of his relationships. And also he said here, and I quote, value the people that value you. And so when we do that, we're talking about relationships. And I'm going to go to my brother, and then we're going to go into our final segment of the program, which is food for thought. And in that particular segment, we're going to talk about the art of conversation, but this time in male and female relationships.
You know, I just want to read this one thing, too, and I'm going to read something else from my book.
Okay.
And this is out of Proverbs 3 and 13. The whole chapter is really good, and it's really important to read, and no matter how you look at it, because in Proverbs 3, it says, in all thy ways get an understanding. Right. But I just want to read this one verse in verse 13. It doesn't take away anything, but it really adds to understanding. Mm-hmm. Proverbs 13 says, happy is a man that findeth wisdom, and a man that getteth an understanding. Mm-hmm. For the merchandise thereof is better than the merchandise of silver, and gain thereof than fine gold. Mm-hmm. She is more precious than the rubies, and all the things that one cannot desire, not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Now, I'm going to ask each individual, how would you perceive that, even when you read it, but how does that tie into, because as we know, Mother Nature is a woman. We identify as a woman. And so, again, you identify that to yourself, to all ladies, to all sisters, no matter how you look at it, young, middle, or seasoned, tie that into you being part of Mother Nature. What constitutes Mother Nature? Let me read this to tie into what you just said in reference to Bill Withers.
And what is that book from?
This is from the We See Colors, the Organic Flavors of Life. And I'm going to start on page 65 as an example, because it's important. The touch of a man, soft, rough, caressing, the best, yet tender and firm. He knows how to hold, feel, examine, and mold, as the beauty of his words express sensitivity. Tall, short, but the true foundation of his soul is planted by the waters that could never be moved. The touch of a man, his heart is warm and loving with sternness, looking out for intruders near and far, protecting his loved ones beyond the borders of his territory borders. His responsibilities are filled with empathy. His voice, his movement, the tone of his smile will not transfigure the right to a wrong. His characteristics are sculptured by a higher power than his own. His walk will lead you to a place called heaven's home, where milk and honey rest upon a throne. He was created for God's glory, to make you a princess on his arm, side by side. They stand secure with tightness and boldness. She tells the world she loves her man. He's sassy with callous hands, but his touch, you can tell that he has the gentleness of a man. Blemished with imperfection, just for you to get to know him better, the ins and out, with no excuses for anyone to shout, except shout hallelujah for the touch of a man. Like a shepherd, he travels to and fro, working until the sunset, and at the end of the day, His mate soothes his feet like Ruth to Boaz or Mary to Jesus, but the touch of a man can never be sweeter. Young and mature, the touch of a man stands strong, firm. His soul remisses her tenderness, her fingers and smiles as they smooth beyond starry skies. Bold as the tears filled his eyes with peace, love, and joy. She cries for the touch of a man, like the quietness of the morning dew on a sunset evening stroll. Her emotions are answered from her prayers to God for the touch of a man to hold as she cries like Hagar, Hannah, and the woman at the well. See, that's important because we often talk about relationship. We talk about how to build relationship. We talk about the 7 languages of relationship. The question is, what language are you talking? What language are you seeking? Whose prayer are you praying to and for? Do you really want to know the touch of a man? Because there's a whole mess of soft, tender, callous-looking hands from a man who just needs to and wants to embrace his woman. But he can't embrace somebody who's not there to support him.
Ooh, before you go on, I just got to put this in here.
Sure.
When you're reading that poem, which I really love, I was thinking of the Stephanie Mills tune, I Need the Comfort of a Man. And the way she sings it, it is not, it's not desperate. It says, I need the comfort of a man. And again, I would say, hey, a man needs the comfort of a woman. And so when we talk about relationships, okay, it's something that we both get out of it. And that poem was really right on time. Now you at home, you want to read that poem again and put on that song, I need the comfort of a man, and then go a little further, Stephanie Mills, and play the song is, like, I've come to respect the power of love. You see what you got me here doing, brother? you got me inspired by your poetry and the music inside my head. Go to it, y'all.
And when you get into the sensuality of the soothingness of who you are and what you truly desire, and this is important, what do you truly desire? Stay away from the distraction of the naysayer, the gossip, the bullcrap of the world. Seek who is it that you're looking for. The comfort of a man, the touch of a man. Do you really want one? Do you know him? Are you willing to get to know him, to feel his sensitivity? Because I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be honest with you, you can feel the inner pain and the sensitivity of a man on the inside if you just comfort him with the softness and the soothingness of your touch, the sweet smell, fragrance of your lips, who just brings about a man who allows himself to quiver in a moment that he can't begin to even talk straight. So that's what's important. So let me read this.
Where's that at?
This is on page 83. What to a woman is a man? What to a woman is a man? Do you know him? Do you care about him? Do you talk to him? Do you speak to him? What to a woman is a man? Do you caress him? Embrace him? Do you shout or whisper to him? Do you fight him, hold him, or yell at him? Curse him out or soothe the beast that's raging inside? Or maybe you'll shoot and kill a savage warrior who cried. What about soothing out the anger by saying, baby, I'm sorry, I got your pain? What to a woman is a man? Do you listen, babble, communicate, sing, or cry? What to a woman is a man? Where is the ability to change the wrong to a right without the fuel to start a fire or fight? Have you thought about becoming a therapist, engaging naturally remedies to stop the massive hemorrhaging of an effective attitude? Do you go, ooh, gaga, like a baby in your arms, or push him away and tell him he's wrong? Do you have the answer If so, now repeat the question. What to a woman is a man? You know, I said that in short because, again, we hear all the time, and y'all hear, y'all talk about whatever case may be. Mm-hmm. He. But you know what? A large percentage of the responsibility really on you and your thinking. Mm-hmm. Your thinking brings about your attitude. That's your right. Attitude brings because of outside distractions and naysay. Because when you go home mad or kick him out, guess what? All the ones who put all that negative stuff in your head went home to their man. You see, you have to understand that you stand alone, and they went home after bring you out in a corner and say, you know, yeah, I agree. I know what you mean, man, woman, or even to you fellas, you go to the bar and talk about this and that, and that, but guess what? They went home. Did you go to home? You know, now you find excuses. So again, to the sisters, what I just read, two things: a man's touch, and what to a woman is a man.
Right. And it reminds me of another song that's been very popular, and it's not A Man's World by James Brown. The song that I'm talking about is When a Man Loves a Woman. It's Percy Sledge. Okay, again, you need to put that on your playlist as we talk about relationships. And so again, we continue, and this is food for thought and conversation about male and female relationships. And Ron, it seems that we have almost adopted this particular book as our Bible on male and female relationships. And we like it so much because it's written by a woman and a man. And these are doctors. These are PhD people. And this was actually written in 1994. But we go to it again and again because it's so profound. And I really want to start our conversation about male and female relationships, and in this book here that I want to present to you is called Friends, Lovers, and Soulmates, a guide to better relationships between black men and women. And this is by Derek S. Hobson, PhD, and Darlene Powell Hobson, PhD. And I just want to read briefly here from the book. And, you know, one of the things when we talk about male-female relationships, our communication has to be better. It has to get better. You know, I was reading an article, Ron, for this particular program, and they said that married couples spend 15 minutes a week in conversation. And when they said 15 minutes a week, I said, well, you know, I mean, they're going about their day, doing this and doing that, going to work and coming from work and doing things in the house and that kind of. But they said 15 minutes of real conversation. And maybe it's because they haven't realized that there are 7 golden communication rules. And so I just want to touch on this briefly. This is from the book. And it says here, whether you are trying to resolve an issue that caused one of you to fly off the handle, asking your partner for something you need, or introducing a sensitive topic, the basis of effective communication are the same. Sometimes what you say is a lot less important than how you say it. Here are 7 golden rules for saying it, and I would add saying it right. Number 1, initiate dialogue. Although it may seem easier to ignore conflicts than to try to resolve them, wounds left to fester never heal properly and will eventually undermine a relationship. Hold fast to a vision of yourself as a peacemaker, someone who is eager to reach a place of understanding. Choose the appropriate time and place in which to start difficult conversations. Number 2, listen actively. Use both verbal and nonverbal signals to let your partner know that you are focusing undivided attention on what he has to say. Repeating his words. You are saying that you like me to tell you more about my day at work is one way to underscore your attentiveness and encourage him to volunteer more information. Number 3, validate feelings. Your partner's genuine emotional responses deserve respect. Feelings are never right or wrong. They simply reflect a person's subjective experience. Number 4, don't interrupt. While your partner is expressing her point of view, limit your comments and questions to what is needed for purposes of clarification. Number 5, stay on the subject. Don't drag in other grievances or old hurts into current conversations. Resolve one conflict at a time. Number 6, fight fair. No matter how angry you feel, never deliberately hurt your partner. There's nothing more destructive than focusing on his vulnerable spots or making nasty comments about something you know he is sensitive about. Long after an argument is resolved, the raw wounds inflicted by those cruel words will linger. Speak carefully and don't go on the offenses. And number 7, respect differences. No matter how articulately you state your position, you may not be able to convince your partner to see things your way. Sometimes a conflict can be resolved by an agreement to disagree. 7 golden rules for communication. 1, initiate dialogue. 2, listen actively. 3, validate feelings. 4, don't interrupt. 5, stay on the subject. 6, fight fair. And 7, respect differences. And this is from the book that we use many times when we talk about male-female relationships. And it's a good book. It was written in 1994, but it's still relevant to this day. And the title of the book is Friends, Lovers, and Soulmates, a guide to better relationships between black men and black women. Now, we're not saying that there's other relationships. Of course there are. And basically, we can just sort of boil this down to better relationships between men and women, period. But we realize that, to have a successful relationship, you have to work at it. You can't just go on autopilot. It's a relationship between a male and a female is very dynamic because there's so many moving parts and so many things that we can that we have to deal with. But never give up, man. Never give up, and never just say, you know what, this can't be fixed, because again, we have too many divorces. Because it's so funny because if you go through several divorces and whatnot, you might have to ask yourself, what is the problem? Maybe the problem is me. What's the common denominator in all these relationships and all these divorces and whatnot? Maybe it's me. Maybe I need to check myself, and that's okay too, because it all goes back to the art of conversation. How do you communicate with others? How do you communicate with yourself? Do you know yourself at last, or are you still working on that?
A couple of things. And you said something, I want to bounce back and forth, but it all ties in.
Yeah.
First of all, it's about ownership.
Yes.
And I say it all the time. I don't care if it's from 0% to 100%, whatever percentage that may be. Take ownership of that, because every cent plays a part in a catastrophic divorce, breakup, whatever the case may be. The forest fire, the infernal flame that just caused a person to just snap. And unfortunately, at the end of that, there's too many relationships, personalities, and lives are destroyed in a split second, because after that split second and the dust settles, you say, I'm sorry. It's too late, because you only have a split second to rectify that moment. But in the same token, if I'm infernal, then you in itself should say, wait a minute, how can I put this fire out? So I'm going to leave you with that, and I want to bounce back and forth with a couple other things. And I'm going to be firsthand to tell you, there's nothing worse to me than interruption. The most important, because I have with me, I don't have it with now, because even in the Harvard Law Reviews, papers and journals, they talk about communication. Allow the person to finish their statement or whatever they are expressing before you interrupt. There's nothing worse than interrupt somebody. And just in short, if you listen to your president, he said, don't interrupt me. Close your mouth. Because it's important to allow that person, because in essence, in communication, I don't care if you're a college professor, PhD, in college studying, whatever case may be in communication, the bottom line is learn to listen. Allow the person a period of time to finish their statement or conversation or sentence. Don't interrupt like you know where they're going or whatever. That's just like you driving down the highway with your hands on your, swimming all around, you looking at your passenger, and all of a sudden you drift in another lane and gonna get mad at that person. Take ownership of it. here, a couple other things before my brother come in, is that I want to say this, a couple of notes I wrote down. A lot of dreams are deferred is because of a division, a mindset slipped between the eyes, blind.
Wow.
You see, you lose focus based on a division within yourself, a division within your partner, a division within the community, a division within reality of a life. Your dreams are deferred because of your lack of focus. You know, and we said not too long ago, I think the other night or so, you know, in Joshua 1:8, don't look to the right, don't look to the left, but meditate on this day and night. It's the exact same thing in a relationship as my brother just read. That is a powerful book. Read it. Take time to study it. Here's the other thing, and again, I just want to say, a soft smile, big as a mountain cap, ready to spill over. You'd be surprised what a smile may be. A friend of mine and a young lady at this occasion not too long ago had the biggest smile. It's like it just, at night, it's just like it brought the sun to tears because she had the prettiest smile. I say it all the time, somebody have a pretty smile. But you know what's so sad is when a person does not understand what a compliment is. Oh, thank you. Well, I was insulted just by your response. But anyway, this last one is poetically speaking, the art of soft-spoken words of a whisper. Too often, men and women get into the howling and screaming. Do you listen to yourself? Do you capture yourself and say, wait a minute? Now, there's some people who talk naturally loud. But you have to understand it. But then you still have the responsibility, wait a minute, I'm talking too loud. Or are you whispering to the point where somebody went deaf and now they can't hear you? But if somebody's talking loud and if you talk soft, you'd be surprised we'll find that medium. And that's what's important, poetically speaking, the art of conversation. How do we have a conversation in relationship?
Like
The spoken word.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And again, understand the book says friends, lovers, and soulmates. So there is like a three-step process. First, we are friends. Then we are lovers. And then hopefully we are soulmates. But it all begins with friendship. And that's why it's so important to cultivate a friendship, especially in male and female relationships. Because sometimes I've heard a couple say around and always laugh, you know, where the wife would say or the husband would say, you know, I don't like him, but I love him. You know, but it's almost like saying, you know, I want to go where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. And so again, I think in the final analysis, we really have to be friends with each other, so we understand that nobody's perfect. There's no one on this planet at this time who is perfect. So we really have to give people grace. We have to give grace to people, and we have to accept grace. And so, again, we don't have the answers to male and female relationships, but we're just giving you some food for thought.
And, you know, I'm going to ask everybody out there two things in this. To yourself and in general. What defines a soulmate? And matter of fact, before I go there, you know, too often somebody always say, well, you know, your mother and your father, your daughter, whatever, well, that's my best friend. There's no such thing as a mother and child as best friend. Absolutely not. It's sad that too many use that, well, my mother was my best friend. Well, what constitutes a best friend? Because you didn't like when she scolded you or your father spanked you. Well, he wasn't your best friend then. You hated him. You're 90 years old and you still hate him. But the bottom line is you say, that was my best friend or daughter or whatever. Think about it. That's all. I'm not crucifying. I'm not challenging you. But in the same token, I'm putting it out there. What defines of a friendship? My best friend. And so to come back to you, yourself, ask yourself, what is a soulmate to me? What is my soulmate? What constitutes a soulmate? And in general, ask your friends in a conversation. Hey, sis, hey, brother, hey, friend, stranger, whatever the case may be. To you, what is a soulmate? And listen to a lot of the response. Just in general, that's your homework. Now, if you want I'll give you an A. At least an A for trying. But don't come back talking about why all that other stuff. But at least think about it. What constitutes a soulmate? Because even as a book, friends, lovers, and soulmate. And the soulmate is often used, my soulmate. What constitutes a soulmate? Because just in short, from my perspective, and those who have the Bible, God said, I will provide you a help meet. See, somebody to work with, somebody who's going to be there hand in hand. Because again, two hands is better than one, but we respect those who only have one. Okay, but the bottom line is, he said, I didn't provide you a soulmate, I'm going to give you a help meet. You see, so you have to look at the different characteristics of a soulmate versus a help meet. Because you can have a soulmate and you out there in the garden taking out the garbage cans or whatever, and now you're mad because nobody said to help me. So you have to understand what is a help meet or what's a soulmate. Well, I'm part of your soul. We are one. But you didn't ask me to help you do anything. I'm just your soulmate. So ask yourself that, and that's what's important.
And I think this one add to that is the fact that as we go through our relationships, I think one of the ways that we sort of draw apart from each other when we start thinking that it's his problem or it's her problem instead of our problem. Okay, if we're in this relationship together, your problem is my problem is your problem. And so we have to move together in that. But when you take your problem here and I take my problem there, we're not really moving together. And I find for so many couples that when they start thinking about I instead of we, it's going to be a problem.
I want to read this also in short. This is out of this book, Financial Literacy for All, okay, by John Hope Bryant. And this is on page, I'm going to read this just in short, on page 81. And it starts in the beginning of the chapter, American Dream Defer. American dreams has always been rooted in the belief that with hard work and determination, anyone can succeed in this country. It's the narrative that has inspired generations of Americans to strive for a better life. But the systematic barriers that have kept financial education out of the heads of so many, in fact, most groups have made this dream elusive. In the United States, most Americans build wealth through a combination of home ownership, investment, education, and business creation. These traditional avenues to wealth creation requires a nuanced understanding of financial matters. It requires navigating through complex financial systems and making informed decisions. A lack of financial knowledge not only impedes individuals from building wealth, it prevents them from protecting what they've earned. This inability to manage and grow wealth affects the ability to invest in education, buy a home, start a business, or even retire comfortably, all critical components of the American dream. I say that and I read that because this is so important. And I want to also tie this into that because one of the most important things is that I've written it down, is that there is a division within the self, a division within our culture, a division within the body, a separation. You see, everybody outside this culture, this race, invests in themselves. They invest in, and it starts with not one thought, but somebody who invests, even if they didn't have a pot to piss in. But they invested. I mean, come on. Zuckerberg started with himself, with a couple other students. Bill Gates started with, in his graduate thought, he engaged others. They didn't say, what are we going to get paid, how much we get. No. They started with the vision that they were going to support something that ultimately became and led them to become multimillionaires. Our ancestors, and I'm going to go from the middle 90s on back, especially from the 60s on back, invested in themselves. Every black business under the sun, even being enslaved, they was prospering. There was generational wealth. Today, in this present day and time, there's small percentage to invest in self. We don't come on here just to talk because we like to hear ourselves. We come on here to share and get feedback for you. You know, do you want to invest? Can you invest? How do we come together to help one another invest in whatever the dreams may be? Because too often, how many or what percentage today do we own any damn thing? You hear me say it all the time. I say it all the time.
That's right.
We had 98% of things back in the 60s, all around New Jersey, and part of the United States, than we do today. There's no reason why. None whatsoever. No excuse, no justification. You cannot begin to give me a nightmare over the reasons why. No.
Yes, we have 5 minutes to wrap it up, and I know my brother can do that because he's a miracle worker.
I want to read this. When the wind speaks, bold, calm, silent whispers, a cool morning breeze offer a moment of shelter from harsh movements as the world becomes just another excuse for why yesterday was lost. How does one bring it back into reality? Adapt, overcome, and make change like raindrops of a smile bursting and splashing in many directions, leaving only the mind to showcase the beauty of what is natural in a state of new growth, permeating through the mystical dreams of a fairy tale full of wonders. Only genuine feelings will rescue one from a place of isolation to a rich cup of savoring joy. Adapting through change leads to new eras, prompting self-awareness about what is value. Whether it's spending time in nature or reading a good novel instead of fiction, ending a poem without shock or terror, reminding us that the author is simply showing how thinking develops. Adapt by changing how you spend your time. Take a moment to write your own story, unfolding the past to reveal how life has predicted the future for the legacy yet to come. Raindrops splash where the unexpected sends notes for the mind to revisit, without losing the memories of self. As a conclusion, only the mystery of the unknown. Screen time mirrors how we all think. Look like a reflection. It uses words that influence my nightmare dreams. The audience I speak to is amazed because the clues was right in the window of my inner thoughts. Nutrition is a shape that reminds us that simplicity isn't complicated. It's just how we think beyond the limits of reality. Adapt and overcome to reach new heights, bringing every story to an end, unfolding from within how we see things in life. Have you written the end to your story, or has it ever started? My brothers and sisters, to everyone at the sound of our voice, as my brother said, we talk about poetically speaking, music is being right, whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is, you can't tell a story if you didn't write a story. You can't write a story unless you picked up a pen. And if you picked up a pen, where was the paper? And all that starts in your head, because if it's in your head, if it's in your dream, that right there inspires you to get up and do so. I don't care what hour of the night it is, but it's up to you to get up and jot down those notes. And ultimately, you will finish the page to one chapter that will ultimately lead to many chapters. And now you can showcase your book, your story. It's all about you, no matter how you look at it.
And this has been Poetically Speaking with yours truly, Terry Benjamin and Ronald C. McCray. Until we see you again, good night.